Right now, I want to get into the 3 archetypes of men that are very good with women, but also, not only that, the pros and cons with each kind of archetype of male. Because what I notice is, working with clients is oftentimes dudes have this idea of, I'm not really sure if I should be the funny guy, or I'm not really sure if I should be the be cool with everybody guy, or I should be the smooth sexual guy, or maybe I'll be the funny guy, or whatever the case is. Oftentimes dudes have this question. And a lot of times what happens is a guy will go out with a certain kind of character, and then maybe he'll have success for the first time. Maybe he goes out to a party acting funny and friendly with everyone. So then he thinks the key secret to everything is to be that funny, friendly guy. But the reality is, you know, sometimes each of these archetypes, each of these types of characters, I think you should take in as a part of you. You were Brahma, man. You were everything. You were the alpha, you were the omega. You can be the funny guy and you can be the smooth guy. You can be the sexual guy and you can be the, you know what I mean? Everything under the sun. But I want to get into each pros and cons. So number 1, first and foremost is, let's see, baby, the smooth guy. This is just one of the first things that's going to come to your head. The pros of the smooth guy is that you're able to show sexual intent. You don't shy away from sexuality and you embrace your inner seducer, unlike a lot of guys. For example, if you're smooth, you have no problem embracing the fact that, okay, I'm gonna like smoothly seduce this girl, and she feels that, and that sexual intent, many guys don't even have that. Just that alone will put you in front of a lot of dudes. However, there are some cons to being the smooth guy. The cons is that you may be so used to being smooth in interactions that you become spoiled or satisfied before you push things. For example, Juice was, when we were younger, he was a bit more of the smooth kind of guy. But the only thing was, like, for example, the pros of this is that in social interactions, a lot of times he was able to open up people in ways quickly, innocently, that I wasn't able to, or he was able to do certain things that I wasn't able to. However, in other things, for example, if a girl gave him a bunch of shit, or if a girl was like, I don't like giving head is gross to me, like when we were younger or whatever the case is, or some immature kind of thought, sometimes he would just play it smooth. And while me, on the other hand, I bust through the fucking door and call that shit out right on the spot, because I'm just like, oh, fuck out of here. That's some bullshit. He, on the other hand, played it smooth. And the only con to this is that sometimes you get so comfortable in your smooth guy act that you're not willing to be uncomfortable. And sometimes there's going to be situations with women where you just have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, where she's going to spaz out, act up, and you might have to be more firm, and you might not have to be, it might not call for you being smooth and, hey, why don't we just do this? You know what I mean? Like, none of that shit. You might have to look at her and be like, listen, come over here. Like, I need to talk to you. That, you know what I mean? That is ultimately one of the things. You don't want to get too caught up being so smooth that you're not willing to push interactions because it'll make you look uncool or unsmooth. Sometimes you have to get slapped in the face. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to have an uncomfortable moment where you push things sexually and a girl's like, and you're in the moment and you don't panic. And you're not ultimately just limited to these archetypes. So let's just move on to the second one. Number 2 is the social circle guide. Pros. This is something that's often relevant in college, for example. The pros is that you live an abundant lifestyle with people, can meet women without putting in a ton of forward or logistical effort, like going out alone to approach women in libraries or streets or wherever the fuck. And you also understand people on a solid basis. This is incredibly useful, especially if you're in school, especially if you're in situations where it's just a social situation or a party or a club. When you can balance everyone. For example, if I'm in a party or a club, the first things you have to get good at is just talking to everybody. You know what I mean? Talking to everybody in the group, because oftentimes it's not gonna be a girl alone. You have to get good at talking to the group, at being able to relate to everyone and be lighthearted and be that person that walks in the room. You say hi to every single body. You shake every dude's hand. You say hi to every single girl. You don't just go hi to the person you know and then the other people just go, you just do a meek little hi. You become that social circle guy, and that will set you apart in those social situations. However, there are some cons to just relying on the archetype of being the social circle party fun guy, which is that eventually you may just graduate from college and you may not have a lifestyle that surrounds you with situational bitches all around you. For example, look, the cons is that you're relying on situational environments. You may have trouble replicating success in a cold environment. You can tend to become satisfied before pushing things. For example, the social circle god may get a fool's gold threesome, but not necessarily feel comfortable creating a threesome situation from scratch. Ooh, I love that example. All right. What is a fool's gold threesome? A fool's gold threesome, I hate to say fool's gold because it kind of sounds like you're discrediting it, but basically a fool's gold threesome is when a girl sets up a threesome for you. Maybe you're messing with a girl who's bisexual and she has a friend that she starts fucking with, and now she's like, fuck it, I'm gonna bring you involved too. And now you're like, oh shit, I got two girls. But you didn't really work for it. You mostly got it from just being really social and knowing a lot of girls and flirting with girls and having some fuck buddies, but you didn't really create that. That's the only negative, is that the person who relies on these situational environments, eventually you're gonna graduate college. Eventually maybe there ain't gonna be girls at your work. Now what? Now what happens when you have to walk into a room or walk into the street or walk into an environment where you don't know anybody? You have to be able to manifest things from scratch, and that's why being a solo killer is so important. That threesome example is amazing because there are dudes out there who have had threesomes, but it was a situation where they can't replicate it because it was like they got lightning in a bottle. But you don't want to have lightning in a bottle. You want to feel like I can consistently create threesomes from scratch with women that fuck with me and that I can make it happen myself. And that's the only negative to being a soul circle god, is that you're relying on other environments around you. And also times it can gas you up and just fill you with a certain level of success to where you don't really feel hungry to improve on other areas. And the only problem is when you leave that type of environment where you are that soul circle god, you may find yourself, you know what I mean? Like, for example, there's dudes out there who they killed it in college, but now they're in their 40s and they got a divorce, and now they're like, oh, what do? I'm too old to go to a bar. I spent my whole life being scared to approach random women on the street or in the daytime, and I'm no longer that college guy surrounded by people. I'm no longer that guy. So now what? Now what? Exactly. That's just part of the negatives, and there's pros and cons to everything. You should incorporate all the pros, but at the same time, acknowledge all the cons. Last one, number 3, the funny guy. The funny guy. The pros is that you're incredible at crowds and opening up people as well as opening up girls on the front end. You can make women and people open up much faster than the average person. The average person has a lot of ego, so when you can come in and be funny, you instantly break the ice and you instantly let people open themselves up to you, and that is amazing when it comes to the front end. When it comes to opening sets, opening women, and just getting good socially at that front end interaction, being the funny guy is fucking amazing. However, there are also cons. The cons are you can tend to struggle when it comes to being more serious /sexual /depth and laying down the law. Especially that latter part about laying down the law. Because, all right, the funny guy may try to jest situations off to calm a girl that is being toxic. For example, maybe you have a girlfriend, she starts acting up, she's giving you a hard time, and maybe it's an irrational kind of thing where you need to let her know that shit is not gonna fly. The funny guy might just do something like, come on, baby, like, I was just joking, you know what I mean? Like baby, you still mad? Baby, you still mad? Come on, baby. And sometimes that's cool, but sometimes she's acting like a fucking brat, and you need to let her know that, hey, look, I'm Mr. Funny Guy, but now I'm serious. You know what I mean? You don't want to always be Mr. Funny Guy. Not only that, but guys who tend to be funny while, for example, I know a dude, one time I'm on a train with this girl, and it's a packed fucking train. But this dude who comes in, he's like a chubby looking nice dude. He comes in and there's this girl with glasses and she's kind of cute. He actually starts talking to her, and which I give a lot of props, because most of the time when you see dudes talk to girls that are strangers, it's a lot of catcalling and shit. This dude actually looked like a normal, nice guy, which I know takes a lot of balls to talk to a girl, especially on a crowded train. So we were actually sitting there basically listening to the whole conversation, and he was actually great at opening her up. He was great at getting the conversation started. The only problem is that he kept that whole funny nice guy act, and the problem is that he himself, especially if you don't look very sexual, like if you don't you can't look at a girl, you can't have no accessories, or you don't have certain signs that says I'll fuck the shit out of you, or I'm not scared of getting sexual, and you put like this, if you look like a nice guy and you're nice and funny, You're gonna be great at opening people up, but when it comes to getting out of that friend zone, when it comes to getting more sexual, when it comes to speaking with more depth, you're gonna have trouble, because that takes a lot of balls, and that takes times where you have to get serious. Women have to feel like there's a plethora of different types of you, where you're not just funny, but you can also get serious. When we're listening to that conversation on that train, we just felt like we knew this just wasn't gonna go anywhere. Like, she was being nice, he was being nice, but then it's like, then what? You know what I mean? You're cracking jokes, but at no point do you get serious about your passions, your life stories, your tragedies, sexuality, the things that are really gonna connect you two as romantic lovers, because you're too busy being nice, funny guy. And sometimes I actually suffer from this too, because I like to consider myself a funny motherfucker sometimes, here and there, and ultimately a lot of times that got me with my foot in my mouth, because I was so busy being cocky and funny and teasing chicks and being all over the place that I forgot to get serious and really build a rapport that will let her and allow her to see me again for that second date, because that can only happen from a solid connection. When you're just going around being funny and joking, that shit can backfire too. And ultimately, these are the three archetypes. These are one of the three archetypes of men that you often see successful with women. And I want to break this down, because you can ultimately get a perspective, because a lot of guys feel like they need to be limited to one. And I want to be able to give you the pros and cons of each, so you can use them and manifest each of these parts of you, because all of us have the funny guy. All of us laugh sometimes, and all of us are serious sometimes, and all of us beat off to some crazy ass shit, so we're all sexual too. We all have these different archetypes in us, but it's just a matter of knowing the advantages and the just disadvantages of each, and how to manifest and use them, and ultimately use them to create the reality that you want with women in your life, bruh. So with that being said, bro, I like this new setup, man. This new setup's the shit, yo. With that being said, like, subscribe, comment below. I will see you in the next video, bro. With that being said, confidence is bred by competence. See you on the other side, pimp.